What's up, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to the show. We've got a very special guest here that we were actually supposed to have this planned, I think, last year sometime.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever canceled. We just never really lined
No,
it up.
no, we just both got busy. I think at the end of the year,
Yeah,
there's tons of games. We're all trying to do
yeah.
content. YouTube is always like, hey, make sure you get everything done at the end of the year. That's when advertisers are the best. So, we were all just kind of just doing that type of stuff.
End of the year is brutal.
End
I
of
had
the
so much fun in December this year, though. Like, so much content went out. And, like, CPMs and rev and everything was, like, back to normal. It was
hmm
so good.
hmm But yeah, we've been planning this. So anyway, we've been planning this for a long time. He needs no introduction, but I do have Wood here
Oh,
from
give me one.
BeatEmUps. I'm gonna give you
I
one.
want one.
He needs no introduction. I know a lot of you guys already know who he is. You read the title, but Wood from BeatEmUps, man, over almost 2 million subscribers now at this point, right? Like getting
No, almost 1.5. Like, at
1.5.
1.4.5 or something.
2 million this year for sure, especially with the year that it looks like Nintendo's going to be having, this year.
Maybe.
Yeah, definitely going to be a big year. But Wood from BeatEmUps has joined me, so I want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here, man. I appreciate having you on.
No, I'm really excited to be here. I've always wanted to do something with you, in many ways, but like in like a in like a video form. So this is really fun.
It's okay. I mean, you get your wife involved. I'll get my wife involved. Everything we can.
Okay, all right, settle down.
I'm just joking around, of course. I might cut that out. Anyway, so let's see
No,
here.
no, no, leave that. You leave that in. We're not cutting anything. You commit.
Oh yes, we have to commit. We have to commit to it. We have to commit to it. Now I know that you're okay with what I said, the joke that I said, so I'll definitely leave it in. So let's talk about your the new year. Obviously, New Year's. How's your year started off so far? The year. How you feeling mentally? How you feeling physically? I know you've been working out. We've
God,
been
we're
talking about
going there,
things.
huh?
Yeah. How you feeling, bro?
I'm gonna give you an inside scoop that I've been too embarrassed to bring to our group chat. For anyone listening that does or watching that doesn't know, we're in a group chat with Spawnwave where we like work out and share fitness tips and stuff. I haven't said anything in the chat because I've been a little embarrassed. I threw my back out a week ago doing deadlifts.
I remember you
So
talking
it,
about that.
it no been great.
Oh no.
And I want to say too, because you're in the chat, I got my dead up to 300 pounds. Not like insane, but decent, right?
Yeah.
So I'm out there, I'm warming up. I got 100 pounds on the bar. That's fine. I got 150. I pull up one. I'm like, man, this is too light, honestly, even for warming up. I go to put it down, and I just feel something in my back like collapse. Like not even on the way up, on the way down, it collapses. And I spent the next 3 days on the ground, on the floor, not on the ground, on the floor in my house. And even now, as I sit here, it's like super sore. So the start of the year hasn't been great. Kim and I were sick, and then I threw my back out. So I really haven't got anything done. I've been getting messages from people like, hey, it's been 2 weeks since you uploaded it. You've been good. I'm like on the floor with my phone, like, yeah, everything's fine.
What's back is destroyed, man. What you got to take care of the back, man.
I can.
This is
I don't know what I.
Do you have one of those
did.
belts? Did you have? I know you wear a belt sometimes, right?
I put the belt on when I get up to like the 200s, but not not like the 150 because I'm still kind of like jogging and running. Like I don't want to be restricted. Like really, I don't know. I mean, Kim pointed out that it's been freezing lately, and I work out in my garage. So I think I just couldn't get warmed up. My back was just cold, and it just pulled something.
But you're
Brutal.
also a taller guy too, so you have to take those
Oh, yeah.
those
Cold,
precautions. Cold, tall,
buff,
yeah.
just
Because
an
you're like what
absolute
six
machine.
six three, 6'3", almost 6'4".
6'4" on a good day.
Yeah, 6'4". So you're 6'4". So obviously that's a lot of
I'm
length.
6'2". That's the
Oh,
get
6'2".
ahead of myself.
Okay,
But
6'4".
that's still tall.
With the American football cleats on, you're definitely, if you had the cleats on, you're 6'4". So we'll give
Oh
you that.
yeah, with my Chucks on, I'm hitting 6'5".
Oh yeah, absolutely. I always tell people, I'm like 5'10" on the best of my days when I got the, like the Prestos on, the Nike Prestos. They add those extra, inches on there. So yeah, 5'10". So
I'm 6'1", but 6'5" on Tinder.
the Tinder upping is classic. The Tinder upping is classic on there. So yeah, no Tinder upping anymore though, right? You're good with that?
No, not anymore. No.
You done?
Very, very much not anymore.
I had an all-star year in 2018, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about some gaming and some other stuff as well. So, favorite games. I know you did a best Nintendo YouTuber stuff on there, and there was a bunch of crossover people, and it was fantastic. I know you put out, what your favorite games were and stuff, but what was like your favorite game that you can tell the audience from last year, 2021 was?
To start, I want to say I want to do a follow-up video to that, and you are in it for sure. We already discussed that on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking of doing, and this is an inside scoop no one cares about, but like an indie one where we go through the best indie games on Switch. And I want to get some YouTubers, like you'll be one of like the headliners as well as a couple other people, but I want to get some smaller, almost indie YouTubers as well, and do like an indie by the indies. But then have a few bigger names like yourself and myself to
not a big name. Not a big name. I'm just a modest content creator out here doing my best.
you hit 100,000. Yeah, you're getting close, right?
We're getting close. We're getting at one of these days. Dude, one of these days.
These days, that's huge because you cannot do that anymore. And I actually had someone email me and they were like, "Can you give me tips on how to succeed with a new channel in 2022?" And I'm like, "There's nothing, man. Like I don't think you can. I think
I don't know.
I think it's done. I think TikTok. It really, like, if you want to succeed somewhere, you got to go to TikTok. Anyway, getting back to the question.
Yeah, TikTok, or you just copy Jordan Fringe because he gets like 100,000 every single like 2 or 3 weeks. Just do that.
Just find someone that's doing well and copy everything they're doing. I mean, a lot of Twitch channels have done the same thing with me, and they're doing okay. My favorite game of last year.
Yes.
To get back to it, I don't know. I go back and forth. Like Dread, I feel like was so quality, but at the same time, I put 8 hours into it, finished it, and knowing me, I'll probably never play it again. That's just who I am. I don't really go back and replay games. I like new experiences. Whereas something like Monster Hunter Rise, I put like 60 hours into that game, and I don't feel like I'm done with it. And like apples to apples, like maybe I think Dread is a tighter, more refined experience, and I maybe enjoyed that more, but I played Rise so much more, and I'm so excited for Sunbreak. So I think I lean more towards Rise, but there's actually quite a lot that came out last year, despite the situation that we're in with that thing that must not ever be named because we hate talking about it.
Absolutely, man. So in terms of like right now, like what are you playing right now? Like what's on the Switch? What's on the PlayStation, Xbox? What's on the list?
Let me grab my Switch and see. So right now, I've been working on another eShop video, like my series of like eShop games, which does stupidly well considering what it is. I love making those videos.
Oh, they're great.
So I've been downloading a lot. The last few days, I've been playing this game called Grindstone. And if you haven't
I've heard about that game. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. It's actually pretty fun. It's a little puzzle game, but I really like it. And while my back was broken and I was lying on the floor for 3 straight days, I finally finished all the post content for Dragon Quest XI-S.
Oh yeah, I saw that you put a tweet up on that. Yeah.
Dude, that was so much fun and also so brutal. Like the actual game itself took like 60 hours for me to finish. No grinding, blasted through it. Couple of the bosses were even pretty easy. The post-game stuff is brutal, dude. Yeah. Like, I had to go and grind. There was like a whole day on the floor of me just grinding for 10 straight hours. But the post-game stuff's really cool. And I finished that, clocked it just over 80 hours. And that's pretty much it. And I've been trying to get better at Smash. So I've been doing a lot of Smash Online.
Okay, Smash Online. So how many people you have in Elite Smash right now? You got anybody in Elite so far?
See, I'm really, really stubborn, but I'm also trying to learn. So whenever I come across someone that's clearly better than me, I will rematch and rematch and rematch until my GSP or whatever it is like shot into the ground. The other guy is loving it because they're at like above 11 million on me. But it's how I learn. So a lot of my main characters are honestly sitting around 3 or 4 right now because I just buried them. But I am getting better though, and I'm feeling pretty good about Young Link and Sora and Sephiroth. I'm getting pretty good at, which is good because I have always loved Smash, and I was like, that was my game. If anyone ever came around, I would kick their butt in Smash. No one could beat me. Like, I'd have friends come around, like Melee, and we'd be doing like teams, and all 3 of them against me. And like, they were like good, but nobody could beat me. Like, it was annoying for them. But this new one, Ultimate, I mean, I don't know what it is. I lost it. I'm rusty.
You lost the touch?
I mean, Bob beats me, Scoot beats me. I mean, you'd probably beat me. Like, everyone beats me at this game. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm
retired from Smash, man. I'm retired. I'm retired for right now.
I retired after like this came out and I sucked. I'm like, I think I'm done with Smash. But now I'm trying to get back into it and not suck at it. It's my dream to enter a tournament and actually do decent.
You should definitely once things maybe get back to somewhat normal. I mean, I'm pretty sure like the Genesis guys or the other type, but they would love to have you, obviously. So I mean, if you spoke with them, I'm pretty sure they could arrange that. But no, that's good, man. I mean, I'm a big Smash player myself. I've been playing Smash since day one. I remember going and looking at like a magazine in like 1999 that had like this, and I'm like, I was at the dentist's office, and I remember seeing it, and I was like, this is. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was April Fool's. You know, when I first saw it back. So I've been playing it ever since it released. I rode my bike to Blockbuster and been playing it. I was playing it there, and I haven't stopped.
That. Yeah, I love that. I love those stories. I did the same thing. I've told the story before, but Smash on 64, we would go to the local. It wasn't it was like Video Easy or something, like not like a brand, like a big chain. It was some local place, and we would rent that game out. And then my mum would call up after a week and be like, he's going to keep it, just charge the card. I would keep it and keep it and keep it. That was my story with that game, and I loved it. And I remember, I've never figured it out what game or when it would have been, but when I was in like grade 7, so I probably would have been around 13, 14, so like 2003, 2004. I remember being on the web. One of the first things I ever like looked up on the web on my own, I was looking at like Nintendo and Smash news. And I saw that Mewtwo was either coming to Smash or was confirmed to be in Brawl. I can't remember like what game was coming out around that time, but I remember thinking like, oh, Mewtwo's in Smash, and like I was at like a school computer. I probably shouldn't have been looking up Smash stuff.
Oh, we've all been there. We've all been there looking up stuff we should have been looking up at school, man. So I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. For me, it was mostly nerdy stuff, but my friends are looking at other stuff they shouldn't have been looking at, and I'm like, Mewtwo.
Yeah, I remember looking up back in the day, trying to get like stuff like on Sega. Like Sega 32X and stuff like that. When I was like younger, I was like, "What is this thing?" You know, all this weird stuff I'd be.
This is a tangent that's irrelevant, but I also remember like trying to hack computer PCs because they would try and block everything, but you would like find ways around it.
Yeah,
and I remember spending so much time on Newgrounds. I remember like obviously you couldn't play games when you're supposed to be working. There was this like weird app that some genius developed that creates like 4 desktops, like a cube. I don't know if you ever did this or remember this, but at the touch of a button, you could shift it around to another desktop. And you could just plug in a USB and do all of this way. So what we would all do is play like this multiplayer shooter game on the computers at school. And when the teacher walked in, you'd press a button and it would shift the screen around and your homework or whatever would be on that screen. Dude, it was brilliant.
No, we never had that type of crazy technology. We didn't have that technology. I'm a bit older, but yeah.
Wait, how old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
You want the joke answer or you want the real answer?
Does the real answer get cut out of the video? Or?
No, the real answer can stay in there. I don't mind, but there's a running joke because I always talk about like back in my day because, you know, a lot of the audience today, a lot of people are younger, 18 to, you know, early 20s. So the joke answer is that what many people feel that I'm like 47 years old. That's the joke. And people take it that I'm that age. So that's the joke answer. I'm actually 34. I'm turning 35.
Okay, I'm 31. I mean, we're the same. I think our school just got lucky and this file was getting shared around and it was groundbreaking at the time. You could play Line Rider over here and do your math homework over here.
Yeah, I did not have that growing up back then. I did not have that. But no, it's all good, man. It's all good. So I wanted to ask you about 2022 and this year. It looks like, based on some of the rumors that's out there, I'm not sure. I mean, I know you don't really cover that too much, but I know you have your, ear to the ground. I'm pretty sure there's people that have told you stuff here and there. But 2022, what are you most excited for? I know Zelda's a big one. I mean, you can talk about that, but what are you most excited for overall when it comes to the games this year?
I've been seeing and trying to stay away from all the leaks, but yeah, obviously I, subscribe to you and RGT and Spawn, so it's hard not to see all of that. But I've been trying to stay away from it because I want to make a video kind of reacting to all the leaks. That was something I've wanted to do this year. But because of my back and not being able to record, I've kind of just stayed away from everything, and now I feel like I don't know anything, but it's too late to make the videos. So you might have to tell me what's going on this year.
In terms of confirmed though, like let's say like what are you like? I know Zelda, right? I know what are you most excited about when it comes to Zelda from what we know,
Right. Well, as far as like this year in general, I mean, anything that you do tell me is coming out, it's got to be Zelda that I'm most excited for. I mean, Breath of the Wild is my favorite game of all time and my favorite game on the Switch. So that goes without saying. I'm really excited for this new one, mostly because it looks like they've they, you know how in the first one you had like the 3 special abilities of like magnesis or whatever,
The Sheikah
freeze
Slate.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like this time you have a few new ones, maybe to either replace them or add to them. You have the reverse time, and I'm really interested on how that's going to work. You see in the trailer when Link like freezes the boulder, but then it like goes back up, which
Mhm.
is really interesting. And I think that plays into his other ability where he can like reverse or shrink into water and then like zip up into the sky.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious not only to how those are going to work on their own, but like in the first one, people would use all those abilities together and they would create like these weird things they would do, like stand on a metal plate that they've like shifted over, they could fly with it, or
Mhm.
they could like smash it and then go flying on it. How are all the new abilities going to interact with the old ones, or how are they going to interact with each other? Because for me, Breath of the Wild, it was just this big playground. You know, they gave you this world to play in and just like go crazy and have fun.
Mhm.
So they're going that for more than anything, I'm excited on what Nintendo have done to increase the fun of the new game, because I'm assuming it's going to be a similar map, if not the same map. So you've got to give the player new ways to experience that world within the map. And I'm really excited for that. You know, the last one you had like setting the ground on fire and then like flying up, like little elements like that they're going to introduce to increase the ways you can interact with the world.
Absolutely. How do you feel about with Legend of Zelda? Because like I said, I wanted to focus a little bit more on that because I know you're a huge fan. I've watched your videos on it. Fantastic stuff. But what, you know, like Link is flying through like the air, right? How do you feel that's going to play a part into like that? You see those areas like in the sky. Do you feel that's going to play a part? And what's your take on dungeons? Do they add the traditional dungeons back from previous Zelda games, previous 3D Zelda games back into it? And how do you feel about like the air stuff or like the sky stuff in the game?
Yeah. Okay, there's a few things there.
Yeah,
I
it's
never
loaded.
felt like, yeah, I never felt like, to me, Breath of the Wild needed dungeons, but I know that it was a big request. I mean, dungeons have been like a staple in Zelda, and they completely removed that. And it's not like you couldn't make that work in the realm of Breath of the Wild. It was obviously a choice that Nintendo just kind of wanted to move away from those structured elements to Zelda, because Breath of the Wild is very much like freeform. You can go here and do what you want when you want. Whereas dungeons were very structured. You have to hit this room before you hit this room. It's a giant puzzle. And more often than not, the dungeons were all in an order because you had to get the hook shot here. So in the next dungeon, you could use the hook shot there.
Mhm.
And I think Nintendo were like, let's just do away with that, because how it's just kind of counteracts with itself. You know, you can't
Mhm.
have, well, you could, but it would be weird to have this giant open world where you do anything you want at any time in any way, but also here are these structured linear dungeons. That would be such a halt and slowdown to the gameplay, and I think
Mhm.
Nintendo knew that. I think the only reason why they would add them back in is just pure fan request, and maybe they find a way to structure it so you can hit any dungeon at any time, and the dungeons are a little bit more open to, you can complete them in a multitude of different ways.
Mhm.
But I just don't know if that's necessary.
Mhm.
As far as like the going into the sky thing and how that's gonna act, I really don't know, because in the trailer it looked like these small tiny little islands, and I'm hoping it's more than that. I'm hoping it's not like a Wind Waker situation where, sure, you have this giant ocean and all these islands you can go to, but most of them were like little thin strips with like a chest on them.
Mhm.
Like I'm hoping that there's more to it than just that, and I'm hoping that it serves more of a purpose than just there's things in the sky now.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that it will. I'm sure Nintendo has planned out all of that. The thing I'm interested in is, and I can't exactly remember what my theory was in total now. I know I made a video about it at some point. I'm dumb and I forget. But it seems like, and I think it's because I just finished Skyward Sword, so it was fresher in my mind. But it seems like the timeline of Zelda is almost either, this is either this very start, because Skyward Sword's supposed to be the first game chronologically, right? And everything is in the sky, and
That or like yeah,
something,
that or I know Minish Cap
yeah,
is one of the first ones too. Minish
yeah, yeah,
Cap
yeah.
or Skyward Sword. Yeah, yeah.
And then something supposedly happened below, and like, we don't go down there anymore. So I could either see Breath of the Wild 2 setting it up to be the very first prequel thing where this is what happened to the down below, and now we're in the sky, because it's setting up that way. We're moving into the sky, so maybe it's setting up Skyward Sword,
Mhm.
or maybe it's just one of them things that happens in the Zelda universe where history repeats itself.
Mhm.
And maybe this is like Skyward Sword 2, where like things are happening again, like kind of maybe the world of Zelda is resetting, and Breath of the Wild 2 kind of brings around a reboot to the entire story of Zelda, and maybe as well as like gameplay changing drastically in Breath of the Wild, the next installment of Zelda is like completely different. I mean, a whole different vibe. Link looks different. Link is, maybe it's not Link. Like maybe this is a complete like full stop. It's reset into something else, or maybe it's just resets into the next Link thing. But I'm very excited to see if that's how it is playing out, because I mean, it's just you can't look at going into the sky with these floating platforms and not think about Skyward Sword.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Especially because I think that's why it was such a big emphasis too, last year of getting Skyward Sword out and making it as good as it was.
Yeah.
I do want to get your take on this with Legend of Zelda. So weapon breaking. I mean, I know you've talked about it before on your channel, but I wanted to give what would be the best solution. How do you see them handling that in Breath of the Wild 2?
I'm gonna seem like the biggest fanboy of that game because I'm like, it doesn't need dungeons, guys. I kind of liked the weapon breaking.
Okay.
I mean, initially it sucked because you were starting the game out, you would find a stick and it would break right away. By end game, you would have all your weapon slots filled and you would come across like multiple like new weapons and you're like, well, I can't pick that up, and you just kind of leave it on the ground. You're probably just using Master Sword all the time anyway because it never breaks, and if it does, it just goes on charge and cooldown. Yeah, by late game, you weren't really feeling the effects of weapon breaking as much, but it also helped rotate through some of those weapons. So you were every time you found a new one, there was a reason to pick it up because either one of your weapons was breaking or you had the empty slot. If they never broke and you had all these weapons in the game and limited weapon slots, I mean, you'd get to a point where you had no reason to pick any more up, and finding a new weapon would be pointless and annoying almost. So I kind of felt like that idea of weapons breaking kind of kept the momentum flowing of finding and discovering new weapons and needing to switch to them. But I know it was a huge complaint, and I guess the only way, if Nintendo wanted to address it but keep it in, is just make them more durable, maybe twice as durable, so it doesn't feel like they're breaking all the time. I will say that it does feel like some of them break way too easy, especially when you get like a really cool one, a giant fire sword, but you're scared to use it because it'll probably break right away. I feel like maybe there is a balance there, but I definitely don't think getting rid of it is the right idea because I do. Maybe introduce. There's no way to repair a weapon. It just breaks and it's gone.
Add like a blacksmith or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, and that would be cool too because that also fills out the world further. You go to a town that has a blacksmith in it, and he can do a variety of different things like craft weapons. But on top of that, maybe repair ones that you really, really liked. And maybe there's like a higher. Maybe it's like a pretty high cost. But like if you really like it, yeah, you can bring it back.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I think maybe they'll do something like that. Now, I do want to talk real quick. I know this is something that happened years ago on your channel, but it was such a big thing. And my fans over here, they love Xenoblade. So I want to talk. So I want to talk to you about Xenoblade 2 real quick. You don't gotta spend a lot of time on it.
Let's do it. Debate me.
I'm not debating you. I want to know what were you thinking when you made that video at the time? What was the thought process?
Okay, all right. My thoughts on Xenoblade, I gotta be honest, haven't really changed that much. I've tried visiting that game multiple times, and I still don't like it. And I still have what I feel like is valid reasons for not liking it. But to answer the question of what I was thinking at the time, I don't even know, man. Like, my channel was fresh-faced and baby-faced. I was struggling through, like, building my channel through the retro era, and then I managed to, like, hit some kind of weird little gold nugget making Nintendo Switch content. So at that time, you got to remember, while I was getting some traction, I wasn't used to getting views still. Like, maybe I would have a video blow up here or there. In my realm, blowing up was like 10,000 views, 50,000 views at most. So I was just making a video about a game I didn't like, and I didn't really care what I said because I still felt like not no one was watching, but almost like no one cared. No one really cared. And I think I put that video out right at the crux of I was just about to really skyrocket, and that video came along for the ride. So it got like a ton of views as I was getting popular. So now suddenly it was this popular YouTuber said this bad thing about Xenoblade 2. But I will say that the video is bad, and I've said that many times.
I don't think it's bad. You're just saying what you want to say. Honestly, and I'm a big Xenoblade fan.
bad video. I built my argument poorly. I
Okay,
didn't give
okay.
any constructive
That's
criticisms.
true. That's true.
I just crapped on the game. It was just also just a really badly made. Like now when I review a game, I script it. I'll have skits. I'll make sure to give like a balance of like good and bad. And ultimately, if I really don't like a game, I won't even review it anymore. Because if I don't have anything to say or it's not going to be entertaining, I just won't make the video. Back then, I didn't care. You know, I hated the game and I was like, hey, I hate this game.
I watched that video multiple times, and every time I laughed at it, even before we started talking, like when because I remember seeing it back then. You know, I did subscribe to your channel a little bit before that, just because some of your just because I mean it would just come up on the page, so I'd say, okay, let me check out this dude. He's making some cool retro content and stuff like that. So when I saw that video, at first I was like angry. I was like, yo, like what's this? And then I started watching it again. I was like, maybe he's just saying whatever he wants. So I mean, like, so that's cool. Like I respect that, you know.
There was also an element at the time where I think I probably had just done the WWE 2K18 video where I got a game that I felt was bad and I crapped on it and it blew up and everyone was really receptive to that video. They were like, oh, this is hilarious. This is so funny. And even now, you know, that's a big meme with me. It's WWE. Every time I talk about bad games, someone will mention WWE. And I think it was just off the back of that too. I was like, well, let's crap on this game now and talk about why this is bad. And I still wasn't in that mindset of like, well, some people might like this game. Would maybe be careful with how you phrase this.
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel you. I feel you on that one. I feel that way sometimes with other games that come out. You know, like The Witcher 3 for me. Like everybody loves that game.
I love that game.
And you love that game. But then like, dude, I hate that game. You know, like I really dislike that game. And I could actually like I made a video crapping on it, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't. You know, like maybe I should. Maybe I'll just talk about it constructively in like live streams and stuff, you know.
That game's one of my favorite games of all time. But I totally get where you're coming from because I feel the same way about Skyrim. And like that's one of them things. I know it's just me. I know it's me because the entire freaking globe loves that game. It's been ported to everything ever because everyone loves that game. It bores me to tears.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. It just doesn't click. And it makes no sense because Witcher 3 is essentially a third-person Skyrim, but I love Witcher 3 to death. So it's just one of them things. Sometimes a game doesn't click with you.
Just doesn't.
And when that's the case, you probably shouldn't go and make a video trashing it for 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I haven't done it yet.
Legitimately a bad game like WWE, okay.
Yes,
but Xenoblade 2, I think I jumped the shark on that one.
No, it's okay. I just find it a little bit funny because we always whenever we talk about like content and stuff like that, I always talk about like some people that didn't like it and we say, oh, remember Wood's video? So we all joke about it now, you know, because it's been years. It's been what, 5 years?
Yeah.
Going on
No,
5.
I do. I find the humor in it too.
Yeah.
And I think one day I will review that game again properly, and it's not going to be a in its favor because I still don't like it, but actually do it justice and at least talk about the things the game does right because there's a lot that it does right.
Absolutely. So I did want to end out on this. When it comes down to everything here, dude, I need to get at least 1 or 2 big Nintendo predictions for 2022. I need to hear what you got. I know you'll probably make a video on this at some point, but I need a sneak peek. Need a sneak peek of a big Nintendo prediction. Don't Google anything. I need it from the mind of Wood. 1.5 million subscribers. Fantastic content. I need it from the mind of you've been playing games for what 30, 20, 25 years, 30 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I need to hear your big prediction out of all your wisdom and wise years of playing Nintendo games. I need that big Nintendo prediction. I need it.
What so you want me to predict something that hasn't already been leaked or announced?
I want your big prediction. The leaks are not. We're taking it as the leaks are not true at this point. We don't know. They could be false. So I need a big prediction from you.
All right, I will give you one, but first let me do a cop out because, and I know I said we shall not speak of this, but COVID ruined everything.
That's true. That's true.
I feel like about a year or two ago, I had a really good idea of what Nintendo was doing, and like nothing has really shaped up that way. And I don't know if it is because of the thing I just mentioned, or if Nintendo just hasn't really got their ducks in a line. But it's become really hard to predict anything from anyone because you never know what's being affected, and that's me gearing up for failure. So when I predict something, that's what I'm going to fall back on as the reason. I think for sure, and here is a big prediction that is not really, but I think for sure we're going to see Metroid Prime for like gameplay this year.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to release this year, but I think the gameplay is going to be shown this year because they can't not show anything, and at this point, they can't just show a title card or cinematic trailer again.
The JPEG.
I really,
the JPEG, the Metroid Prime 4 JPEG.
JPEG?
The flashing JPEG.
I feel like we probably could have had a cinematic by now, but I think they know that with how long it's been, when they reveal this thing, it has to be a full reveal. They can't go back to a title card, a JPEG, or even just a cinematic. Like they have to jump straight into, look, here it is, to get not only people excited but confident back in the product. And I think we're going to see that tail end of this year.
Okay.
I think as far as anything else, I mean, I have been seeing the leaks for things like Kirby's not even a leak anymore. They confirmed that like yesterday, right?
What was it?
That Kirby's coming in like March, or has that always been March?
Oh yeah, that's confirmed. There was a rumor back early January that somebody put out that they actually got the date exactly right, which was March 25th. And I did cover that, but I mean that wasn't really. I mean we knew that the game was coming, probably spring. So
is Bayonetta 3 confirmed this year? Or is
Bayonetta 3 is confirmed for 2022. Yes, they confirmed that last year at the direct and the fall direct last year.
You know, I feel like it's I want to go out on a limb and suggest something else, but with Bayonetta 3, with Splatoon 3, with Kirby, with Zelda, I think that's their lineup.
Okay.
You know, I don't see them getting. I mean, at that point, you're getting greedy. Really, I mean, that's like the 4 big ones for this year. I think Prime gameplay, and other than that, I don't think anything else has even been announced. I know Mario Kart 9 is rumored to be in development.
Yes.
So maybe we'll see some of that.
Okay.
But unless Nintendo are like, you know, done with all their other projects, Zelda's pretty much out the door, and they're just like doubling down on Mario Kart to get that out by end of the year. I don't think that'll be until next year either. So I don't really know what else. I mean, what do you think? Because I feel like there's not really.
I have no thoughts here. This is about my man BeatEmUps.
No, I want to hear.
This is about you. No,
just name one thing that I haven't suggested.
You know, well, you suggested quite a number of things there. I think that a prediction that I haven't already kind of covered already on my channel. I don't know. I'm gonna say that there's gonna be some other legacy titles. So I'm gonna predict this is not something. I mean, there's been rumors, but nothing credible so far. But I'm gonna predict maybe Golden Sun. We get a Golden Sun remaster. We have Advance Wars. Yeah, Advance Wars 1 and 2 is coming back.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's gonna be April probably based on some of the information. So I think maybe Nintendo says, hey, let's just go back and let's take this Golden Sun game from the GBA days. You know, they've been doing a lot of GBA stuff recently. You know, they've been doing a lot of GBA stuff, so I'm thinking maybe Golden Sun comes back in some way. But I do want to say one more thing here. I need to get your thoughts briefly on Nintendo Switch, next-gen Nintendo Switch. When does it happen? When does it happen? What year? I need a prediction on that, too.
Okay. What I can tell you the year it should happen, and that's 2024.
Okay.
It should happen 2024. I feel like with the OLED coming out, they've ruined any chance of a Pro. I don't think they're even caring or thinking about that. They probably... I have a theory, and I've said this before, that the OLED was supposed to be the Pro unit, but due to the chip shortages and all of that going on, it was easier for them to just keep what they had and just throw a screen on there because screens are easier and just do a couple of the refreshes. So I think whatever Pro model they might have wanted to do, if they did want to do it, ended up being the OLED, and we got what we got. So I think now that'll carry us through the next 2 years, almost 3, to 2024, and that's when we should get the next one. Will we? Depends on what Nintendo actually wants to do, but also it goes back to the chip shortages because we're not out of that yet.
Yep.
We're not out of the woods with that at all. And I really think it comes down to as soon as Nintendo can feasibly do it and get enough units on the shelf, they're going to do it. And I think 2024 is the sweet spot because what's that? That'll be 8 years off the Switch.
Yeah, that'll be 8 calendar years. Yeah, if you count like 2017, 2018, 2019, 20. Yep, that'll be about 8 calendar years. I
don't think you can push to 9.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting close to a decade. I think that's a bit much. And then I think like bringing out a Pro at that point, let's say, to try and take you to that decade, it's just not.
Doesn't make sense.
It's not ideal either. Bringing out a Pro like this year or next year doesn't make sense after the OLED just came out. Yeah, I think what makes the most sense is 2024 around the same time frame of March. It puts you like 8 years. They said at the start of all this Switch business, they wanted this to be about an 8-year console. They wanted to extend it past the normal lifespan of a console, which is 5 to 6 years. So 8 is 2 extra years. Bring out the new one and get a bunch of games going on it. What makes the most sense to me.
All right, sounds good, man. So thank you so much, Mr. Wood from BeatEmUps. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk with me. If you guys want to subscribe to Wood's channel, if you haven't already done so, there will be a link in the description. Make sure you check out his videos. Wood, do you have anything coming up that you want to let people know about on the channel or anything?
Nah. I just make videos when I make them. I don't really no, not really. When's this going out?
I don't know.
Oh, well then I don't know.
This weekend, probably this weekend, maybe Sunday, Saturday or Sunday.
I guess the one exciting thing I'll say, and I'm assuming I'm allowed to show you. I'm gonna give you the inside scoop because this video is not gonna. I keep saying that like anyone cares about my inside scoops, but A and Neo, I don't know if you heard of them.
I have. It's like the portable like Switch like PC thing, right?
Yeah. They sent me their brand new model. It's not even like out yet.
Oh, look at that!
It's a $1,400 handheld. They even, I don't know if you can see this very well. I need to focus. They put my name on the back.
Oh, that is not. I'm gonna have to talk to you after we're done. I need to get into contact with your guys that you know.
So last night I was in bed playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and Cyberpunk, and I'm working on a video for that.
Nice. Sounds good.
That is what's happening.
That is a scoop for you right there. That's a scoop. So thank you so much for joining. No, we all care about your scoops. Thank you so much, Wood, for joining me, man. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. Like I said, hit the like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click the notification bells, and we'll see you guys for the next show. Peace out, y'all.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on, Wood.
Bye.